This meeting is being recorded. This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, this is Jonathan Gale, and I am calling to order the open space meeting for March 5th, 2025. It is now 6:15 PM. I apologize for the late start for anyone. I'm going to suggest that we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. So we will do that. Here we go. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so first of all, present, we have all three members present on Zoom. This is a Zoom only meeting. And we have myself, Jonathan Gale, as the chair. And next to me, we have,
Leonard Hull,
and
member,
on the other end of Zoom, we have,
This is Danica Belknap.
thank you both for being here. First order of business, we will set our meeting for next month. And next month's, the first Wednesday of the month, I believe is the second.
April 2nd, yep.
Yes, April 2nd. So if we could plan on April 2nd at 6 PM, and we can say location to be determined I think at this point.
Thank you.
Do we want to do 6 PM or 5:45? We were doing 5:45, but if that
I'm
time's
okay
not
with
good-
5:45 if that works for Mr. Hull.
I'd prefer 6 o'clock,
He would prefer 6 o'clock.
just so this way here I don't get here
The only
late.
issue is, like, I like to be home by 7. So, I mean, that's why we're doing Zoom, but are you okay with continuing to do Zoom with the technical difficulties we've been having? I would like to go back to in person, but it's just harder for me to do that and be home in time for my daughter's bedtime. Her routine starts at 7. So
I think I know Mr. Hull said he can't get there till 6. I would like to at least try for 5:45 in
Right.
person.
Okay,
I think that makes sense to try and do that.
okay,
For a variety of reasons, including Zoom, but not just.
right.
Let's plan on next month at 5:45 for Zoom. And I believe we still have prime time available. I will confirm that tomorrow.
And I'll try to get there
We'll
5:45.
try it. If it becomes an issue, we can revisit and
Exactly. So I know that you left the agenda where it was last month. So why don't we go through the agenda and we can tick off a few things, and I can, if you want, unless you want me to just kind of, since it's just the three of us, give you an update as to what I've done so far with regard to our April cleanup. Or where do you want to start? Leonard, do you want to?
Well, I'd like to start with the cleanup.
well, do you want to save that one for when we get to that part of the agenda, or do you want to
Sure.
like
No,
you want to
let's
start with
say-
like your a general address or
So do you want me, what would you like me to do first, Danica? I'm going to leave it to you.
if you want to follow the agenda, the first item is chairman's address, and we do have an
Okay.
agenda item specifically for the cleanup. So if you want
Okay.
to save
So
that
for the chairman's address in general, general terms, I have reached out to several people about the cleanup already. We're going to get to the specifics on that when in the agenda item. So I will save that. I did also separately reach out to Kevin Smith Jr., who was able to find, and Danica, I forwarded that to you earlier today. The question mark we had last month about the money that was available in our account that Shira had said was available.
Okay.
And I sent you the document that shows where it came from. And I just gave Mr. Hall a copy as well. So my intent on that is to reach out. Unfortunately, the town's, the selectman's office is short-staffed right now because one person is out ill. But my intention is to reach out to the folks who provided this grant in the first place, let them know that we still have this other money available, and ask them how we can use it. I want to discuss with them how we can use it. If, for example, can we put it towards a cleanup, a general cleanup, or just Broad Cove, or what was their intent? You know, we know what their intent was. It was to pay, if you look at the document, it was to pay for a survey. But but there's money left over from that survey. So they've never asked for it back and they've never asked for a reporting of it. I'm not going to say that to them that way, but my hope is that they will let us keep this money and use it for the interest of open space, which would go towards a cleanup and perhaps other projects down the road. And I wanted to know if the two of you are comfortable with that.
Now, who would you be speaking to specifically?
I don't know specifically yet who I'd be speaking to, because I don't even know if the same people are in place or if the same group still exists. They may not even exist anymore. I don't know that. So I've got to start somewhere, but I did not want to start anywhere looking into anything without discussing it with the two of you and getting some input first.
I did see your email and I did not get a chance to look at the attachment. But I don't see why I wouldn't be opposed to you like trying to track. So you want to track down the person who made the donation and see if we can use the remaining funds? Is that what?
That is correct. That is correct. Yes.
Okay. So I don't object to that.
Okay.
All
right. Okay.
I would
ahead.
also like to
Go ahead.
someone to have a discussion with the town accountant as to if there are any terms that the town has for us accessing the money.
The town does not have any terms.
Okay,
So there's no separate terms that the town has other than the purpose from which it was intended.
Okay.
And that's it.
okay.
So far, we haven't found any other documents. We didn't even find the application that was originally submitted for the money to be issued. This is all we have.
You know how old it is? Like how long ago?
2019.
Okay.
So it goes back, 5.5, 6 years,
Yeah.
depending upon when in 19 all this process started.
And how much money is still left?
Still left is $1,200. So that could go a long way towards a couple of projects for us.
Mm,
And then separately from that, I think I reported last time and I confirmed that we can accept donations. We can accept donations for specific projects, or we can accept donations to be used as we see fit. Either way.
Currently, even though we don't have an account.
Correct. They would just make a line item for us.
Okay.
So that's it. So somebody could designate, $200 to a cleanup or to restoration of something or signage or whatever. For example, if we wanted to purchase signs that indicate areas are open space or sponsored by open space, things like that, and have them permanently affixed in certain places in town. This land has been designated as, for example. Somebody could donate the money to do that, and that would become a line item in the town's general budget. And it would be specifically earmarked for that. It could not be used for anything else. On the other hand, if someone wants to just give us $250 and say, just use it for whatever you need it for in projects in town, or they can do that too.
Like
And
if
if
they just
somebody
gave us cash,
I'm sorry?
like if they just gave $250 cash.
Well, there's no cap. They can give us as much as they want.
Yeah.
So, the big thing is that if anything goes over a certain amount of money, then we have to get permission from the Board of Selectmen to use it, and that's in the thousands.
But if someone say we were to collect donations in cash at an event, would we give that to the town and it would go into the town budget?
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. We have to give it to the town.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, should we create a policy and procedure of how we're going to record the donations that we would get?
So that was the other thing that I was going to add in my president's or secretary's thing, whatever you want to call me, chair. I don't even know what I am anymore. So
Yeah.
Danica, I've got 4 other people in my house, including a toddler and a 2-month-old. So I'm all over the place right now.
Right.
But yes, we should come up with a policy as to how we will accept donations so that people know they can make it for a specific earmark project or program, or they can make it for general use, and that it would be paid if whether it's cash or check, preferably by check. But if somebody were to suddenly give us $100 in cash donation, I would immediately want to give them a receipt and have them sign off on it for the amount. I'm not crazy about taking cash donations. I don't care if it's a $10 donation. I'd want to give them a piece of paper that says we received $10 from, with my signature and their initials as well. So they can't say that was actually $100.
Mhm. So, okay,
Should we make the policy we won't accept cash?
So, did you hear what Leonard was asking?
yeah,
Okay. What's your thought? Should we not accept? I would prefer not to accept cash personally. But what do the two of you think?
Well, we would have to, if we were gonna go cash, then we'd have to create a receipt form,
Correct.
and we have to make sure it falls within the rules of the government of Dayton.
does the town have any sort of online portal where people could make donations like online? Because I just this day and age, how many people carry checkbooks around with them? Like, say someone comes to an event and wants to donate, but they don't have a check. Like, what can they do?
You know, that's a really good question. I don't know if Mr. Hull knows the answer from
No,
that,
I
from
don't.
your time on the select board. I don't think that they do, where you can make a general donation and have it earmarked to what program or what department or what budget you can do. But I do think, having said that, and I did speak to the town about our FB page, and working on that and putting it together, and our town page as well. So once Leanne is back, which could be in the next week or so, she and I were going to sit down and really work on those things and put it together. What I'd like to do is get permission from the two of you, a motion to, at least for me to put together a draft policy on how we can accept money and have that for our next meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
So anyone hearing no discussion, all those in favor of allowing the chair to draft a policy for acceptance of any kind of money for direct purpose or general donation for for our open space, signify by saying aye. Danica,
aye.
Leonard,
Leonard Hull is an aye.
and chair is an aye. So that passes unanimously. Thank you. I'll stop there because I want to wait for anything else for when we get down on our agenda for the cleanup.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just recording that. And then I'll tell you the next agenda item in a second.
Okay, no rush. I think we'll be out of here by 7 still.
Okay, so public input, there's no one from the public here,
Okay.
it's just us.
I
And
will
then-
say, in fact, I'm going to say right there, I have asked, and this is important for public input separately. I have asked through the selectman's office to the town administrator to the chair of the select board or board of selectmen, that they make sure they announce that we need more members. For anybody watching this later, we need a couple of more members. We are down a couple of members, and we are desperately looking for more members so that there are subcommittees that can be formed and other work that can be done. We take ourselves seriously. I know we're slow at times, but we take ourselves seriously. And there's a lot of work to be done for identification of open space in town. So if you're listening to this later, we're encouraging you or your friends to please, please, please go to the town's website and submit a volunteer application for open space. I'll leave it there. That was my public comment.
Thank you. Okay, so then the next item is to open space committee member vacancies. Very good segue.
Yep. So
So I guess no applications have come in.
no applications have come in as of yet. I did touch base with the Board of Selectmen's office yesterday. But as of so far, nothing has come in.
Okay. And they're going to continue to advertise it in their meetings.
They say they will. I'm gonna start, I think, for the next couple of meetings, If I'm not there in person, I'm gonna log in, and on public input, I'm gonna make the announcement myself to make sure that it gets there.
Okay, so we don't know if they have been actually announcing them. in
They
the
have
meeting?
not.
They have not
And
at all,
they,
okay.
I mean, they do, when they do general announcements, they'll say open space has a couple of vacancies, but they're not doing that every time.
Okay.
And they need to do
Has
that.
it been posted on like the town's Facebook page?
Yes, it's there. It is on the town's page.
On Facebook?
Yep,
Okay.
it is there.
Okay. Are there any other places that we should be advertising it where people would get their news from? Like,
I
are
mean,
there other community Facebook pages we could post to?
Well, we could ask the other pages, things that somehow cross paths with what we do. For example, I could reach out to Kevin Smith Jr. and ask him to post it on Parks and Rec. Perhaps planning might be willing to post it. Conservation might be willing to post it. Trails might be willing to post it. That's actually a very good idea. I hadn't thought of that.
How about the Vine, so,
Strawberry Vine?
Strawberry Vine.
Strawberry Vine, which is the seniors mailer that goes out to, I think, almost every household in town.
right,
So I could ask them to post it as well. Yes.
Okay. We also, actually, that's a few months off now. I was gonna say a town meeting, but I don't know if they make announcements like that at town meeting.
No, they do not.
they haven't been.
Okay.
No.
All right, that sounds good. Okay, the next item, are we ready to move on to the next item?
Yep.
Cleanup Day Subcommittee update.
Okay, so I have 4 emails so far. Don't ask me who off the top of my head right this minute. But I have 4 different residents who send me emails that have said as individuals, they want to participate in the cleanup. I responded to each of them to tell them it'll be the 19th with rain date of the 26th, time to be determined, and locations, where we're going to clean up to be determined. I have also spoken to members of Lions Club. I have heard a little back from a couple of the town sports groups as well. Lions clubs have to do a community project and to get credit for it this year, which is great. So they're on board with doing this, from what I've been told, and I'll confirm that when we set up our pre-meeting, which I want to do in a minute. Same thing for some of the sports groups in town. I've been told that the Little League, up to the Babe Ruth League, I'm asking basically each of the teams, not just the coaches, but each of the teams to provide 2 members or 2 families, minimally. And I've been told that that can be done as well. I've also, I have not reached out to the town's clergy. And I need to do that yet over the next few days. It's just been rather crazy in my world. But I want to get the clergy on board as well. And I have reached out to other committees in town and been told that they will not only post it, but they will try to get at least 1, if not 2 volunteers from each committee in town. So my goal, for my overall goal personally, and I hope it's our goal, is I'd like to have a minimum of 20 adults volunteer. And then, because that's a large group, I don't think they've done it like that before. And then also, I'd like to have at least 20 kids. I'd like to have it as a one-on-one. And I think with the different groups in town and plus scouts as well, I do think we can pull it off. I'd like to think we can. I'm proposing for the 2 of you, or Mr. Hull, because he and I were the subcommittee, that I try to put together a meeting since it's not a Wednesday where the Board of Selectmen would meet, that would be 2 weeks from tonight, potentially, for the pre-meeting. I have to find out the location first to see if prime time's available or town hall, but I'd like to propose 6 o'clock in 2 weeks.
You could also meet at the police station.
Yeah, we can. I was just going to say, there's the conference room at the police station, which I just used recently for something else, and is a very, very good conference room. So I'd like to propose that we do that in 2 weeks. Mr. Hull and I would certainly be there. Danica, I don't know if you'd like to be part of that or not too. It'd be great if you could. My hope is that that would only be for 1 hour. I don't know
We'll
if we
have
can
to
set up
post
Zoom.
it.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We'll have to post it as an
Right.
open space meeting then.
Oh,
Right,
absolutely.
okay,
It would
all
be.
three.
Yes. Yeah, even with 2 of us there, it has to be posted as an open
No.
space meeting.
Oh, 3. That would be a quorum out of 5.
Well, that's true. That's true. So, yeah, so I mean, I'd like to go ahead and tomorrow and see what's available for space for that so that we can put it together. And then in the
So sorry, you want to do Wednesday, the 19th?
Wednesday, the 19th, yes,
Okay.
at 6 p.m. And then what I thought I would do in the interim is get together the 2 people who probably know more. I don't want to leave trails out, but the 2 people who probably know more about the areas in town that need cleaning up more than anybody. And Mr. Hull, correct me if I'm wrong, are probably Kevin Smith Jr. and Tom Ferry.
Yep.
So
Oh, that's right.
what I'd like to do is reach out to Kevin and Tom. And Kevin is a teacher. Set up one day after school, perhaps. And I know Tom's always willing on a Saturday too. But set up one day after school when the 3 of us can go around together. I can't see it. And I say the 3 of us, Danica, I don't know if you're available or not, or Mr. Hull, and come up with 5 places potentially that we could look at. Let's start with 5, and then we may ultimately narrow it down to 3 that really need work. But I think if we can identify 5, that would be great. And that's also an opportunity to talk about what we need for supplies and everything. And of course, Mr. Ferry would be invited to that meeting on the 19th, as well as the police department.
If I can't make it, I'll get you a list of sites that I noticed that
Okay.
could also.
And Danica, if you have sites that you can think of separately, we can drive around and put those on the list too.
Okay.
So that way, when we meet on the 19th, we have this list to present to everyone and get opinions on, should we do all 5? Should we concentrate on 3? How many numbers? We can actually ask each group or organization, do you know what the numbers are that you can have available, kind of thing. So that we know on the 19th, we're going to have, how many bodies roughly we can expect as well. That's going to determine what Mr. Ferry can provide in the way of equipment as well.
Mhm.
Bags, rakes, things like that. I have several boxes. I think I have 3 large boxes of surgical gloves already. So I would donate a box of surgical gloves so that people don't have to worry about picking things up with their bare hands.
Okay.
I have reached out and I have not heard back yet from Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm going to reach out to Alice's restaurant as well. And to both of the pizza shops and see if they're willing to donate anything towards people having some snacks before we get going or at the end when we're finished. Don't know which but I'm reaching out to all 4 places. Water, I think we should provide people with water. I'm willing to donate a couple of cases of water. I can get it at BJ's for $4 a case. So I will make my separate donation of a couple of cases of water so that everybody at least can go out with a bottle of water in their pocket.
I can do the same.
Mr. Hull just said he could potentially do the same,
Mhm.
or, maybe even water and like some kind of a bar, chocolate bar, one of those snack bars or something like that. So that at least we have something for people when they're out there and they want to take a break for a minute.
Yeah. I'm happy to contribute something too when we see we'll see what kind of donations people might or organizations
Exactly.
might be willing
And
to provide and then.
And
go into
it's possible even the Lions Food Pantry has something
that.
that we can use. I don't know if that's going to be likely or not, but you never know. And I'll reach out to Lions Club and find that out too.
Now, is it too late if we get the okay from the town to use some of that 1,200, even if it's to reimburse?
It's never too, if the organization who says we can use the money for whatever purpose says we can use it, they can tell us that right up until the morning of the 19th.
Okay,
There's no deadline of that. We don't need 6 weeks advance notice to know that. If they tell us, you know, in a week that we can use that, then that frees us up to say, okay, great, we're going to use it to, you know, buy more bags, maybe look at putting a fixed trash can too somewhere if we can figure out a way to do it. We'd have to talk to Tom Ferry about that for permanent trash receptacle or something. Maybe we want to use it to purchase, you know, sandwiches for that day for afterwards for, you know, $100 worth of sandwiches or something. But we need to get permission to do it first. So
Okay.
there's no deadline for that. And that's, unless we have other questions, go ahead.
So the only other thing I just want to point out is that I feel like this event is kind of sneaking up on us. It's about a month out. The date
Yep.
we have is April 12th, right?
Right.
So I think that we want to try to start advertising it if we want to get volunteers. So and our next meeting being on the 2nd, I don't think that we should wait until then to advertise.
No.
Once
No, and
I just want to really just acknowledge that and make
No,
sure that
and you're
we have a
right.
plan for how to
you're absolutely right. And that's another reason why I want to be on those Board of Selectmen's meetings for whoever many people listen to them. I'm also going to speak to Leanne tomorrow about making sure it gets posted on all the town's pages again. And I'm going to send an email out to all the chairs of the different committees in town, asking them to please post it as well.
I'm happy to also like draft a flyer that we can share with these committees for posting, but we need to have like a time and a location.
So if we have the flyer, which hopefully, if we can nail that down in the next week for locations, pretty much, at least nail down the time in a flyer. We may not know the locations for 2
or
weeks.
the meeting spot. I know that you said like maybe we could all meet at
Old Town Hall,
Town
and I'm waiting.
Hall, and then
Right, I will
go-
have an answer on that tomorrow, I think, from Ralph, the town
Yeah, so I
administrator.
think I'm happy to draft a flyer, and like as soon as we have those details confirmed, let's
Okay,
get the flyer going and start sharing it.
okay.
I believe in the past, they went 9 to 12.
They did. They have gone 9 to 12 in the past, but I want to make sure that we have what we need to have access to the building with the alarm and everything like that
Okay.
as well. So I should have that answer, I believe, tomorrow. And then from there, I can get back to you hopefully later tomorrow or Friday and have you we can put together the flyer, you and I, or you can put it together. I can give you the information. I'll put it that way. If everybody, I mean, if they're agreeable, I'd like to do 9 to 12. I'd rather do it in the morning, frankly. Meet at 8:30, let people have a coffee or something, potentially, hand out supplies. We will determine ahead of time where people are going to go by then. And we can say, okay, this group is going here, this group is going there. And we're all going to meet back here at 12 o'clock or as soon as you believe your area is finished. Come back. So Tom has done this before. He's helped put these together before. I think he'll be helpful. Kevin has too. I have not done it in Dayton. I've done it in other places in Canton where I lived before.
So then this meeting on the 19th is when we would coordinate between us and Kevin and Tom and any others who are helping out
Yeah.
on the day of those details, right? Of like what the plan for the day of will be.
That is correct. That's when we would have the adults who are representative of their groups or ask them to send a designee
Okay.
who are representative of their groups to that meeting.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. This is really important to all of us, and I don't want to leave us with everything that we're doing and talking about it with any kind of egg on our face. So I'm sure we'll be able to pull this off, and we'll be proud of it, and the town will be proud of it. Any questions from either of you about this any further?
No.
Okay, Danica, whenever you're ready. Take your time.
The next item is setting up a bank account to receive donations. We already.
Yep.
all over it.
We've done that already, and
Yep.
I'm gonna send you both a draft to look at and make any changes to if you want, once I do it. I'll probably do that tomorrow and get it out to you tomorrow night.
Thank you.
And then the next item is committee goals and priority setting. I'm gonna suggest maybe we table that until
You wanna
next time.
put that on hold
It's
because
already-
we got a late start?
Yeah, it's 6:46 and we have other
Yep.
things to talk about.
Yes, we
still.
do. Yep.
I will make a motion, Leonard Hull will make a motion to table goal section on the agenda for the April meeting.
Is there a second?
Second. Or, yes, sorry, the April meeting. Yes, second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Danica,
Aye.
Leonard Hull is an aye.
Jonathan Gales, and I.
And then the next item is meeting with other committees.
So I spoke to, I started with Kevin. He's all for it. I briefly mentioned it to planning. They seemed open to it. And also to conservation. This was at another meeting I mentioned about getting together to have a meeting with them, if not April, then in May, to talk about where we can all, what we can all work on for together. And they said, I'd like to do it before we have town meeting. And I'd like to get it done sometime in the spring so that maybe we can all, if we need to all take something to work on, we can work on it collectively and, you know, begin to put things together before the summer comes upon us. They were all surfacely agreed. They want to go back and I believe I know Kevin and oh gosh, what's his name from Jeff, yes. Just want to go back and discuss it with you know, their other members just to make sure they believe it won't be a problem. Jeff was actually very nice about it, FYI. But you know, and go back and discuss with others. So
Okay. And then are they gonna report back to you?
yes,
Would they want to do the, Jeff had suggested before a group meeting, a joint meeting. Would you?
that's what I'm hoping that we'll all do as a joint meeting. With as many from each committee as we can.
Mhm.
And we'll set out an agenda ahead of time. A short agenda.
Because I did go to the first one that they had, and it was really good. It was really productive. So bringing everybody together be something that we could not only throw out ideas, but come up with a common goal
Yeah, I
rather
mean,
than going in all different directions.
we all want to preserve open space. We all have a stake in what open space represents.
Also, if we are able to create our account, we could also pull our money on one project rather than
Could
conservation go
yeah.
in one direction and planning going another.
potentially.
Now, Park and Rec, they don't take in money to make purchases of land, do they?
No, they do not.
Okay.
It doesn't mean they couldn't go after a grant. They could write a grant to help purchase a land,
Okay,
or they could go to, you know, another committee in town or another way in town, for example, if they wanted to purchase some kind of land or something like that and ask for dollars. So for example, you know, if it had historical value, they could go and ask for money from another committee for the historical value of the land to hold on to it for the town. Yes, that they can do. But they haven't done that yet. So if they wanted to go to CPC, for example, or CPA as it's called, they could go to CPA and say, we want to purchase these 3 acres here because we believe it's an historical site that we want to, through Parks and Recreation, we want to restore. They could do that. And then it would be up to CPC or CPA to decide yes or no, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a lot of parameters about that.
Ready to move on to the next item?
Yes.
Okay, so then we're getting into new business. The first item is review pamphlet for cleanup day.
I like what you sent out, the draft you put together here.
Mhm.
I printed out a copy for Mr. Hull. I didn't fold it, but I like what you have on there. And I like that it gave me a description of what you had for the visual as well,
Did that,
which is
alt
great,
text.
by the way. Thank you.
Danica, thank you. This is excellent.
And there is,
Wait, let her. Go ahead, Danica.
there is space like available if we want to expand or add more detail. I kind of left it general to see what you all thought. I also would like to update the pictures. I don't know if Leonard, you were able to get any from Nancy Goulart, but I put some pictures in there kind of as placeholders. And one of them, a couple of them are from Dighton, but I have like 2 different pictures of Broad Cove Marsh because that's just where I visited and I had pictures. But the one of the other pictures I used was not in Dighton. I think it would be good if we had pictures that were representative of like different parks in Dighton. So if you,
I've spoken to Nancy, she had the pictures, but Jonathan said you had pictures already. So do you want the pictures or would you prefer them to be electronically sent to you?
electronic would be best, but
Okay.
how do you have them?
Well, I don't have them. Nancy has the pictures.
Yeah. I mean, even if she has like just like a few, like maybe her favorite pictures from like a couple different spots in town that she wants to pass along, and like she can email a couple of them over.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think we need a big bunch, even just 6 or 8 for Danica to look at
6 or 8, okay,
and choose from.
okay.
It'd be great. And we can, maybe if Nancy can do that like in the next week, if you can.
Oh,
reach
yeah.
her,
No,
so that we can
I'm
get that
going.
done. In terms of the other space on here,
Mhm.
um,
What I wanted to do was put together a map of all of the places in town, but I didn't have time to do that. And I also am kind of limited in what I can do on that. Like I don't know what I would like how we would put a map together.
well, you know, it's funny because we don't, putting a map together of what we identify as quote unquote open space unquote. My concern is that we may not know something exists as open space and we leave it out.
Mhm.
On the other hand,
I guess well so what I was envisioning, sorry to interrupt you, but
no,
I just
go
wanted
ahead.
to
You go.
clarify
Go ahead.
what I was thinking. The map would not show like all the open spaces in town. It would show like public places. Like the way that I did it was like these are so I had a list of like and yes, I also welcome feedback on that list in case I missed anything. But like so I have a list on like these are places where I know the public can go because there are like trails that people can walk. So I was trying to, rather than just saying like these are all the open spaces in town, I was focusing on kind of like the public recreation areas.
So I could ask Kevin for all of the public recreation areas in town, since they technically would come under his purview.
Yes, that's a great point, and he might have like a map or something like
He
that.
might, or he can probably create a simple short map, very simple
Yeah.
map, using like a pinpoint of, whatever he would do. I don't know. I can ask him if he can make a simple map that shows people where things are in town for all the open recreation spaces.
Mhm.
But we want to be able to shrink it down to what size would you say? So it's just going to be a line map. It's not going to be super.
Yeah, it would have to be pretty small because we would put it would have to go in this pamphlet, and we could like it could be wider than just one column, like
Yep.
wider. I was thinking maybe if we had it, like, because the pamphlet's gonna be folded in thirds, we could have it go across like 2/3 of the paper, so that's like 3 or 4 inches across.
So if you have no objection, what I'm gonna do, and if Mr. Hull has no objection, I'll make I'll entertain a motion in a minute. What I'd like to do is reach out to Kevin. And if it's okay, connect you and Kevin together. So that the two of you can work on an idea and a concept for the map and come up with what the two of you believe would work.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, it's
again-
good to see what he already has, and maybe we can work together.
Yeah, would that be okay with you?
Yep.
Okay, great. I will do that. I don't know if I need a motion for that or not.
No,
I don't think I do,
no.
but we're not voted, and actually I gotta speak to Kevin later tonight anyway. So I'll mention that tonight and then I'll follow it up with an email to both of you to connect each other.
Okay.
And then potentially, if we can have, we don't want to wait on the pamphlet, I don't think. Do we want to wait on and approve it on the 2nd of April, or do we want to try and approve it ahead of time?
Oh,
Well, I mean, if we complete it, we could technically vote to approve it if we all meet together on the 19th, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or we could save it for the second. I mean, the point is we want to distribute it at the cleanup event. So I think if we didn't
Yeah.
approve it until April 2nd,
second.
Okay.
then that would be okay. But
All
if
right.
it is done, we could approve it on the
The 19th.
Okay.
19th, and then we could start printing.
All right. And I'm gonna find out if the town, I know the town has color printers. I don't know if they would let us print and fold at the town. Or
Yeah.
I'm also gonna reach out to BP, Bristol Plymouth
Right.
Printing Department, and just say, look, if we come to you and ask you for, because this can be used for other things. So if we
Mhm.
give you something that's like a trifold or a bifold, and we're looking for 500 copies, how much would it cost? Or could you just do it for us?
Yeah.
And I'll reach out to them in the next day or two also. I'll put that on my hit list of things to do.
Sounds good.
And then if they say they can do it, they can tell us what format they need it in, and I can let you know that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I just did it in Word, which is not the most high-tech version for like
Yeah,
formal
yeah.
printing.
Yeah, they're gonna want it in another format, I'm sure. But I'll find out. They may want it JPEG, they may want it in a PDF with JPEG. I don't know, but I'll find out
Yeah,
when I reach out. Give me a day or two because I'm sure I'll have to play phone tag with their printing department.
okay.
But I like what you have there so far. Honestly, that's well done.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Um, okay, the next item, are we ready to move on?
Yes, yeah.
The next item is the Open Space Committee Annual Report. And are you getting those updates from the town? I think Leanne's been sending them out.
Yes, I am.
about-
Yeah, I
and
just
like-
got one the other day. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, did you send me the last annual report?
I did. I think I emailed it to you after last meeting.
Okay, I'll go back and check. I thought you had. I'm gonna use that, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna look at the minutes, that as many of the minutes as I can get for the past year as well, to see what I can put together. It's gonna be a fairly short report. I know she said she wants it by April 1st. She already knows me well enough to know it's probably gonna be a week late, which means that we'll all have a chance to look at again, this is something where I can send you guys the draft and we can go back and forth.
Thank you.
Yeah, because, yeah, if our meeting, so let's do that before our next meeting. But
Absolutely.
is it a problem if we don't approve it until the meeting on the 2nd? If it's due the
No, I'll tell her that, no, I'll let her know that, I'll send her what I won't even send her anything. I'll just tell her that we have the final version to approve on the 2nd. And assuming everybody agrees with it, because we'll have reviewed it, looked at it back and forth ahead of time, but we need to formally vote. Then she'll have it that night or the next morning. She's okay with that.
Okay,
Danica, could you send me a copy of the last annual report?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just email it to both of you, so it'll be
Oh,
on the
great.
top of your inbox too, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
The next item is committee access to town website and Facebook.
So again, the main thing is that I was going to start to put all of this together and bring it more up to date and work on it with Leanne, but she has been out for about 2 weeks now and may still be out. She wants to come back sooner than later, but she could be out for another couple of weeks.
Okay. So you're just waiting for her to be
I'm
back?
just waiting, yeah, and I'm gonna have to give her a few days because she's gonna have I know she's working from home, but it's not the same thing
Yeah,
in the work that she does.
okay.
We did, I'm just as an FYI, along those lines, just very quickly. Kevin has a box where Kevin found this document that Mr. Hull is looking at and that I sent to you. Kevin has a box of old materials he found from our committee going back like 2020, 21, like that, 22, and further back even when, when Mr. Grimes, Tim was chair and so forth as well. So I don't know how much is there and how much even needs to be archived, but that's one of the things that Leanne and I are going to do. When she comes back, Kevin is going to drop the box down at town hall or give it to me. And then she and I will sit down and go through it first. Because a lot of it's not going to be relevant to anything. I'm sure it can be trashed, but there may be things in there that we need or that could guide us towards things in the future. And we don't even know that yet. So I just wanted to say that he has a box of old material that nobody else has.
Okay, that's good to know. So
Yes,
it is 7. Our next and last item for new business is land trust development planning. So I'm going to suggest we table that to the next meeting.
Agreed.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
I'll
what was the
make
next
a
item?
Land trust development.
I'd like
So
to make a
I'll-
motion.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to table that item to the April 2nd meeting.
second,
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote on the motion. Danica,
aye.
Mr. Hull,
Leonard Hull is an aye.
and Jonathan Gale is an aye.
Great. And then public input again, but there's still no one from the public here.
Nope.
The last item is to approve our minutes from December 4th and January 15th.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for December?
What is the
So
date?
moved.
We have to read the date too. December,
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Can we do both together, December 4th and December 4th, 2024, and the minutes for January 15th, 2025?
yes.
Okay,
You're making that a form motion?
yes,
I will second. Leonard Hull is second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. Mr. Hull,
Leonard Hull is aye.
Danica,
aye.
and Jonathan Gale is an aye, and the minutes for our previous 2 meetings are approved.
That is all.
That is it. Other than
I
that, I
will-
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Leonard Hull would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second,
hearing no discussion, Mr. Hull,
Leonard Hull is an aye.
Danica,
aye.
and Jonathan Gale is an aye.
The time is 7:04, just for the record.
Yep, thank you. And I'm sorry we got mixed up on this earlier. in the future, I'm gonna see try to figure out what happened. If we do have to do Zoom in the future, regardless of anything, I think it makes sense, you and I, to like a day or two before, just check it and make sure it's working.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I think, yeah, it could just be because of the way, and I'll try to fix this in the next agenda.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like the link was just text in the Word document. It
Yeah, I think
wasn't
that's
like
why
a
it wouldn't do it.
hyperlink. So I think
Yes.
that's why it wouldn't let you click on it. So you
Yep.
should have been able to like copy and paste it, but maybe you just weren't copying the full.
And
link.
I did copy and paste, but when I did that, it was taking up like, it's because it was trying to go to PDF format to do it. It was taking up 2
Oh.
lines as opposed to 1 line across.
Okay, so
So-
yeah, I'll try to make sure that for
Okay.
the next one,
Yeah,
it's
well-
like an
well,
actual link
let-
that you can click
Well,
on.
let me ask you, the link you just sent me, that's the one we're always going to be using, is that right?
Yes,
Okay, then
that's it's the same link.
don't worry about it. I'm gonna keep this one you just sent me. I have a separate list where I put all my Zoom links that are permanent. At
Okay.
least, until I'm told they're no longer valid, or I put a deadline date on the note. And I'll just use this one no matter what in the future. Since we
Okay,
know it
sounds
works.
good. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Perfect. Thank you very,
Thank you.
very much. Appreciate it. Have a great evening.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
No,